Yay! Woohoo! It's not snowing.
It's not, and it's supposed to go above freezing today.
My poor girlfriend came back from Palm Beach.
Oh yeah.
To the snow yesterday. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Coming home in May and experience.
Oh!
Well, our salesman Steve is in Aruba right now. Good time to go there, Steve, buddy. You left us with a snowstorm.
Yeah, good. I hope he's having a hoot.
I heard going up to 9 degrees tomorrow with a low of 0. So maybe we're going to edge up there.
Well, it's time. Mother Nature, let's get a memo to her.
I hope the weekend is nice. This is the weekend for the women's build at Habitat for Humanity, their location for their new house that's going up.
Right.
And they're hoping for good weather because she said otherwise we're going to have all these volunteers putting flooring in.
Right, yeah.
They want to work on the outside of the house.
Well, sure.
I'll be there for that, actually. I'm going to go visit.
Oh, good.
I think there might be a celebrity appearance by Gina Lolly International Brigida. She might go to hammer some nails with a hard hat.
I think that we need to get Gina if you see her when you're there, ask her if she wants to be like a foreign correspondent for us.
Gina doing like, what do you call it, streeters?
Yes.
Hey, what do you think about? Yeah, sure, that's fine.
What do you mean make a sauce? Wow, the Billboard's awards show last night. Taylor Swift opened it, and did she open it?
Okay, listen.
Woof.
Anybody who's watched
You're not
the show,
a huge fan.
Okay, she blew me away.
Yeah.
Well, not she
the
so
production.
Much. That opening number, if you have not seen the opening number for the Billboard Music Awards, Google it.
Yeah.
Watch it. It will put a smile on your face.
She's saying Me, of course. I love that song.
So do I. I gotta give it up.
You know what? And
Bubblegum Pop.
Bubblegum Pop, very pastel-y, very ethereal, very happy, very up.
Which we need right now.
Well, we sure do. And very danceable. You can't help but tap your foot when you're watching.
Look, there they are. Oh my God. It was
so cute.
It reminded me of when I went to see Mary Poppins in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Because they fly over the audience. And I remember that feeling of like, oh my gosh, they're flying over my head.
We should do that as an entrance one day to the morning show. Fly in. And land here.
And the aerialist artist that came in and the spinning and the color.
And the guy she's with is Brendan Urie, by the way. He's collaborating with her.
He's from no, it's called murdering. No, what's it called?
Chaos.
Panic at the Disco.
Chaos.
Where
Panic.
did murder come from? Murder at the Disco. Panic at the Disco. Great band.
You know them. I don't know them.
Yeah. I was going to say, I can't find out who the choreographer was. If anybody out there, look it up. I Googled it.
I swear it's Mandy Moore.
I think it's Mandy Moore too.
Yeah.
But you said you saw the Huffs in the audience.
I saw Julianne Hough. Maybe it was her.
Anyway,
she looks awesome.
And Kelly Clarkson hosted.
Gosh, I love her too. Seriously, that girl can do whatever she wants to.
Yeah, whatever she wants to.
The Jonas Brothers were there. The J sister, Mariah Carey,
performed.
And apparently such a cute shot of her twins singing along while mom's performing.
Paula Abdul, first award show performance in 23 years. Something like that. Good for her.
Yeah, she has a really bad back.
She has a really bad voice, but that's...
You're so critical.
Paula Abdul was a freaking cheerleader. Come on.
Well, yeah, she admits that, though.
I mean, that's a great thing to be. Cheerleaders are great, but don't be a cheerleader who can kind of sing and then think you're going to be. But she made it, though.
Yeah, don't tell her not to
American
do it,
Idol
she's got more money than you, honey.
American Idol made her a big star.
Yes.
Again, Paula Abdul. And I actually just watched an episode, I think it was from, I don't even know the date, but it was on my PVR, and I didn't even know I had it. So last night I got home from rehearsal and I was like looking at American Idol, talking about Kelly Clarkson. There is a new young lady who is on this year's American Idol contest. She's going to be the next Kelly Clarkson.
Really?
And either she or the redheaded guy are going to take this. She can sing, and Adam Lambert was the guest mentor.
Oh, cool.
He was like, are you kidding me with that voice?
And his voice too.
I just watched that thing that they did. It was on the network show the other night, and it was Queen and Adam Lambert. It was the story of how he became the new frontman for Queen.
Really? Where was that?
It was on It was on a network's channel. I think you'll probably watch it now. You know how you can rewatch things live streaming?
They always pop back up again.
Really cool to watch about Freddie Mercury and about how Adam came into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of background
on shoes to fill, right?
A lot of background on Adam stuff I didn't know about. You get to meet his parents. You get to hear what he was like as a kid.
That's so awesome.
I'm a big fan of Adam Lambert.
So we mentioned that last night at the billboards, the Jonas Brothers were there, along with Halsey, BTS, the J Sisters. Joe Jonas, by the way, and Sophie Turner got married.
Well, they were in Vegas. Did they get married at the
surprise Vegas ceremony?
While they were down there for the awards?
I'm not sure.
Vegas was the perfect spot.
I wonder if they did the Elvis drive-through one. That's what Jim always wanted to do.
I'll do.
Let's just go to Vegas and go to one of those drive-thrus and get married. I said, oh, honey, you're so sweet. No. Absolutely not. What are you thinking?
The Jonas Brothers, I saw the picture of them. Okay, so there's a picture of the three of them, and they're all wearing like really wild, loud suits.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I saw your comment.
Did you see it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Because you see Joe there, and he's wearing the blazer and a shirt and the pants and the shoes.
I can't tell them apart.
And the next one over was Nick, and he's wearing the blazer and the shirt, but no socks. And the next one over is Kevin. He's got no shirt, no socks. It's like they kind of went, okay, that looks good, but you take off the socks and you take off the shirt too. There we go, perfect.
Yeah, I don't get the whole.
It looks kind of silly.
Yeah.
And there were so many patterns going on. I was having an acid flashback.
An acid flashback.
Remember you were talking about Oprah yesterday? We were like, ooh,
yeah,
Oprah.
she's coming to Canada.
Oprah is not, you know who's not a fan of Oprah Winfrey? Angelica Houston.
What?
Angelica Houston and Oprah were both nominated the same year for Academy Awards.
Oh.
Angelica for Prizzi's Honor.
Right.
The gangsta movie. When it was, they were hustlers, whatever you call them. And Oprah was nominated for Color Purple. Oprah did not win. Angelica Houston won.
Right.
Angelica Houston said, never got on her show, has never spoken to me. And at one time there was an award show where she was talking with, she was in a conversation with Clint Eastwood. Angelica Houston and Clint Eastwood were talking, and she said, and Oprah Winfrey just walked into the middle of the conversation and began talking to Clint. She said, so I'm talking to Clint, and all of a sudden I've got in front of me the back of Oprah Winfrey's head, and that's the only conversation I've ever had with her.
Ooh, Oprah.
Oprah.
Not showing any class there.
Yeah, a little snippety.
Shame on you. A little snippety. Remember where you came from, honey, because you could be right back there.
Grifter, that was the word I was searching for. Angelica Houston played a grifter in...
A grifter.
Yeah, that's con artists, right?
Because I was going to say, as you started to tell the story, I was thinking, you know, she's never been on the show. Well, that's agents and, you know, working with it. Oprah doesn't call up people and say, please come on my show. She has people to do that, right?
I would imagine.
Yes.
I would think sometimes Oprah would probably say, I want this guest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So...
Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
On this date in history, this is a big one. 2011, Osama bin Laden. He was killed by U.S. Special Forces in Pakistan on this date. After, when they think he was the mastermind of September the 11th, he was, at the time he was killed, he was the most wanted man in the world by the FBI.
So much still about how that whole operation went down. I don't know if you recall, because they landed in the compound with helicopters, and the tail flew off the helicopter and stuff. And yeah, so there's still lots to Google about that, or if you find anything to read about it, it's really very interesting.
I still remember Joan Rivers saying, why did it take them so long to find him? It's Pakistan. It's a desert, all right? There's no electricity. He's 6'6". He's on dialysis. Just find the plug and follow the cord.
There's that. There's that. Joan, God bless her. She has her own little perspective on things.
Follow the cord.
Follow the cord. Yeah.
Dialysis.
Oh, here you are.
Be plugged in somewhere.
Yeah.
It's in a cave.
Go into the caves.
Yeah.
Hey, also at the billboards last night, Drake, our own, Canada's own, broke the record for most wins of all time at Billboard.
Come off it.
Yes.
That's a lot of wins. How many do you know? That's a lot of wins.
Yeah, that's
a lot of wins.
Way to go, Canada. Way to go, Drake.
Hey, so it's Bum Slide Thursday. And on the show today, this first interview is going to be so educational. Because I was talking to my guest back, you and I were both like, what?
Yeah.
Her name is Julie. Julie is here to promote the MS Walk. And she's got some information about multiple sclerosis that probably will surprise you, because it surprised me. That's coming up next on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true. With over 45 years of experience, All Ontario Well Drilling offers hydrofracking and all well drilling services. Call 705-575-8088 or 705-257-9495.
With 3 brands to choose from Kawasaki, Suzuki, and CF Moto, visit one of our 4 showrooms today and speak with our knowledgeable, friendly, and enthusiastic staff who will be happy to help you with all of your motorsports needs.
Enjoy life, enjoy the ride, Bud Robinson Motorsports.
We walk for our daughter Julia.
I walk because my daughter Julia lives with MS, and I walk to support her and other Canadians living with this disease.
The MS Society has been really great for me and has supported me over the years. So I walk as really a way to give back.
I walk to create awareness for myself and others living with multiple sclerosis, to help raise funds for more research and help individuals like myself cope with the disease.
I walk for me and for all those living with MS who can't walk for themselves.
I describe the MS Walk experience as camaraderie.
Inspiring.
Empowering.
People should get involved with MS Walk to raise money to find a cure.
MS is Canada's disease. Every day is a struggle for every Canadian living with MS. So when you join the walk, you're helping people with MS to live a longer, better life.
Together we will end MS.
Because that's dangerous. I'm laughing because Julie and I here are talking about some friends we have in common. This is Julie Myers. Julie is representing the multiple sclerosis. What's the name of the society? Is it
MS Society.
MS
Society of Canada.
Of Canada.
Yes.
Julie, you have MS.
I do. I was diagnosed about 6 years ago now.
Let's talk a little bit about the journey that you went through, because this is a pretty interesting story, I think. First of all, statistically, you said you were the perfect candidate for MS.
Absolutely. Canadian, female, and in my late 20s.
Canadian. We have the highest rate of MS?
In the world.
In the world?
Yes.
And do we know why that is?
They don't know why for sure. There's suspicions that it's related to vitamin D or lower vitamin D, not enough sunlight in
We don't
Canada.
get enough sunlight up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, possible.
Okay. So the highest, and women?
Women are more likely to end up with MS as well.
I wonder why that is.
That I don't know again.
What about age?
Age, it just seems to, people are typically diagnosed in their young adulthood.
Young adulthood.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a misdiagnosis at first, or something happened.
Well, it was just sort of missed. My first relapse was likely in 2009. I didn't have a family doctor at the time.
Surprise, surprise. Northern Ontario.
I waited about 6 months for an MRI, which was the wrong MRI.
Excuse me, you waited 6 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it was the wrong...
It was the wrong MRI, so it didn't show anything.
Nothing showed up?
Similar situation happened a couple of years later. And then finally in 2013 I had a very major relapse that did lead to my diagnosis.
So you call them relapses?
Yes.
Why do you use that term?
Because I have what's called remitting relapsing MS.
Okay.
So I will have these relapses where I'll have a flare-up or a more aggressive symptoms, hopefully followed by periods where I don't have those kinds of symptoms.
What were your symptoms for your type
For
of
me,
MS?
my symptoms were usually numbness, tingling, loss of balance, loss of strength. So the relapse that led to my diagnosis, I basically went numb from the waist down, had a lot of difficulty walking.
That had to be terrifying.
It was pretty scary. Yeah.
Facial palsy, you said?
Yeah, slight palsy in my face.
How did you, so it relapses and it goes away on its own?
It can, but every time there's some more damage, potentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a neurological disease?
It's an autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system. So it affects the brain and the spinal cord and the optic nerve, typically.
So, I know somebody that I'm related to who discovered their MS because of eyesight problems and fatigue.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we also, a lot of the times we'll imagine somebody as MS as being in a wheelchair.
Yes.
That is not always the case.
Not always the case.
Okay.
No.
And there's no way that you can find out in advance whether or not you're a candidate. Like, you can't go for genetic testing and say, I've got something going on.
Not
it's an autoimmune disease.
Yes.
So it's not in your genetics.
No.
Wow. Okay, now let's talk about the lack of funding for MS in this country.
Yes, so it's very underfunded, unfortunately. To date, I don't know how many medications there are. I think it's a little bit more than 10 medications specifically for remitting relapsing MS.
That's
my type of MS. There's also primary progressive MS, and in the last year, there's the first medication, the first and only medication for primary progressive MS.
Where would primary progressive MS, what's the results of that diagnosis?
So it's a bit different because it continues to be progressive. They don't have those.
It doesn't just relapse and go in.
Exactly.
And it's continually.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but there's medication now?
There's one medication now, and that just came out in 2018.
So, I mean, MS has been around forever, but it's taking this long to get... So, obviously, the research is ongoing constantly, and that's where the funding is really lacking. In research?
Absolutely. In research is where it's really lacking, and that's why the MS Walk is extremely important.
Because the money we raise for MS Walk will go to support research and also advocacy.
Absolutely.
Let's tell the audience what you mean when you say advocacy.
So, as an example, this week, the MS Society is in Ottawa, dealing with Parliament, dealing with legislators, to try to appeal for additional funding, better health care, better employment opportunities, better financial opportunities for people with MS.
Right.
Yeah.
Employment
so that's part of the advocacy that they do, but they also will advocate for funding for individuals. They'll help educate people that have been newly diagnosed with MS and different programs like that. There's also a peer support program.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's all funded by the MS Society.
By the MS Society, because the government's... Okay, when we hear... I mentioned to you before the interview, we hear time and again about these agencies who are only 50% or 25%, or if they're lucky, 75% is funded by the government. The rest is all done by private donation, fundraising.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of a trust? Does MS have any kind of... You know how some places will have money that goes into...
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Now, so... The walk happens when?
It's this Sunday.
Okay, this coming Sunday. Where does it start?
It's at the Pavilion.
So down at Roberta Bondar?
Yes. Okay. Yes, so it's held there. So the registration starts at 9:45. The walk starts at 11. It's a 5-kilometer walk.
What's the route, do you know?
So it's all downtown. So it goes down towards the Bush Play Museum and then all the way down to the casino and then loops back around to the
that's
Pavilion.
A great walk.
It is.
And you probably see people you know on the street.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm happy to say that last year was the first year I was able to successfully complete the whole walk because my treatment has been quite successful. Because prior to that, I would take a shortcut. You would take a shortcut? I couldn't do 5 kilometers.
What about your treatment? Is it medication you take? Or?
Yeah, it was an infusion medication.
Okay.
So
Is that paid for?
It was paid for.
Okay.
Yes, but that was a bit of a battle as well.
Oh,
at the time when
did you almost have to go to court, or did you?
Yeah, I didn't go to court, but I threatened legal action. At the time,
go Julie.
At the time, the government didn't cover that medication, and my private coverage was saying they don't cover that medication either. Mm-hmm. But I found some loopholes in their policy and was able to get it covered.
Good for you.
For myself and anybody else that still has that drug company.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so now if we haven't already registered for the walk, is there still time?
Absolutely. And it's a great event.
You could just show up on the Sunday?
You could just show up, and if you can register that day, and there's no minimum amount that if you raise $5, you can still participate.
Okay.
So that's the really nice thing about this event is that there's no fee to register.
Oh, there's
no minimum donation. So if you want to just participate as an individual,
right,
you can do that. If you want to join a team, you can do that. So people can go to mswalks.ca and register, or you can find people that are registered already with the walk and you can donate to them.
Tell me again, what is it?
It's this mswalks.ca.
mswalks.ca.
Yes, and then you can look by city and you can find our event.
To Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, and you can find our team. This is our 6th year, my team's 6th year doing it. We're the Myers Myelinators.
The Myers Myelinators. Okay,
Yes.
so, and there's a whole bunch of teams, so you could go and see, maybe you know somebody on a team
Exactly.
and say, I'm going to pledge you.
And you can pledge that person, or you can join yourself and start your own little team. And it's a really great event.
Also, you could probably do this. Like, we have social media now, so go online, say, I'm going to do the MS Walk on Sunday. Anybody want to join me? Come down, show up, blah, 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 bring some money.
Exactly.
Or you could maybe make a donation on your own behalf and then say, I'm doing this, and if people donate afterwards, you can still submit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was so much more I want to talk about, but our time is running out.
That's okay.
Is there like an MS day, like a national day awareness for MS?
I don't.
There should be.
There should be.
Because then I want to have you on the show. Let's create one and have you back. Because I just
we'll
feel like
make one up
more.
and I'll come back.
I feel like there's more we need to talk about because of the awareness raising part of it.
Yeah.
But okay, so for now, the walk is on Sunday.
The walk is on Sunday. Go to mswalks.ca. You can participate, you can join, you can donate to individuals that are doing it locally. Donate to my team.
Julie said she didn't necessarily want to be the face of MS.
No.
But you know what? If that's what it takes, you said you're willing to do it.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's fantastic, actually, that you are probably not what a lot of people picture as someone who's living with MS.
Exactly.
And living well with MS.
Exactly. And doing well with it, and yeah. Also,
the realization that although somebody may have an impairment with their speech or their vision or their mobility, the brain is still fully functioning.
Exactly.
It's still going on and they're just fine. So this is not something that limits someone's ability to do a task or to complete, to think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with the walk.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with Luann right after this.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades including installation are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsioux.ca.
Every day, I walk for truth.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen
to them. Children of the night.
It's alive! It's alive!
You know, talking to Julie before we went on air, we were in the green room, and she was telling us about the gaps in service.
Oh my goodness.
And about the issues that she faced with her diagnosis, trying to get a diagnosis in the first place.
Right.
And then the battles that she had to fight. And you said, this is making me sick to my stomach to hear this. You know, to hear that somebody is afflicted with something and they're fighting and they're intelligent and they're
She said I had a relapse before I was diagnosed with the disease, like by 4 years or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's just such a scary, you know what, stay healthy.
Stay healthy, and you know what, help them out, because this whole, we're talking about, we're finding medication that can help these people now. It's ongoing. This research has to carry on and they need the money. So really, please support the MS Walk.
Yes. And if you don't want to walk, just give them money.
Just give them money.
Yeah.
Honey.
And if you don't want to give them money, we'll take money. Sure. Take you out for lunch.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
Emilia Clarke is on Game of Thrones. She's an actress.
I know nothing about this
Me
show.
neither, actually. But she was on Jimmy Kimmel, and of course, everybody is like GOTing all over the place.
No.
That's Game of Thrones talk. GOT, yeah. So she was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and she talked about the most recently aired episode, Battle of Winterfell, and she confirmed that there were much bigger things to come.
But I heard that this was humongous, this episode, with the visual effects and the dragons and the things. And
she says it's going to be even bigger.
How do you top yourself?
Right?
So there's a character.
I think somebody might wear a colorful top.
That's how you...
That's going to be big.
Is everything very gloomy on Game of Thrones?
Well, it feels like it's black and white and maybe, I don't know, gray, and then black and white, and there's never any sun, and it's always full of mud and really damp.
Never any sun. That's a lack of vitamin D. They better be careful. And that's,
wear something red.
Listen, there's a character. Am I crazy? Does anybody watch Game of Thrones? Is there a character named Arya something or other? Arya?
Ari.
Okay, Ari. Because I'm looking on Twitter and it's all about, I love this woman and she's amazing and we should all be like her. And I'm thinking this is some political figure that I need to know, who is this woman? And I'm like, oh, for crying in the wilderness. She's a character on Game of Thrones. You want her to be like somebody who's not even real. Smart enough.
It's like talking
real
about
heroes.
It's like talking about a soap opera, right?
Exactly.
And somebody overhears you and like, oh my gosh, who's so sick?
I know.
It's an actress.
Who's this amazing person that I haven't heard of?
Yeah.
She's a fictional character.
Yeah, we can't
fictional character.
She's a character.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fictional character. Robert Downey Jr. We were just talking about 75 million, whatever he made off that.
75 million off
he made off that most recent one. He's been doing this since 2008. He was the first guy to actually, Kevin points out that Howard the Duck was the first Marvel comic character.
Yeah, but Howard the Duck isn't a guy.
Right. But Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man, and that was the first Marvel Cinematic Universe release in 2008. So in the last 11 years, this guy's progressed from starring in the very first ever Iron Man to making $75 million.
You know what, too? When it was first aired or first promoted as him being Iron Man, I was like, him? Really?
Him? The crackhead who ended up in somebody else's bed?
Well, right? But he's not like a Marvel type of guy. He's not huge. He's rather short. He's, but it's all about the costume.
All about the costume. And I think he does train for it. But remember this story? Does anybody remember that story? That Robert Downey Jr. had a terrible substance abuse problem.
Yes, I do remember.
And he ended up whacked out of his mind, went into some stranger's house and crawled into bed with a daughter or something. Or it was in a strange bedroom, and then he was arrested. He went through multiple arrests. His career, look at him now.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, it's nice that
clean and sober.
Nice to acknowledge that nice for people to acknowledge that it's a disease and that it can be treated, and that you can live a great, successful life after treatment.
And you can carry on.
And you can make $75 million.
Just like Tim.
I went for treatment. Why can't I make $75 million?
That's just because you get to work with me.
Hey, let's listen to what Luann has on the news coming up next on Mornings with Luann and Tim. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
After this.
This is ONNtv.
Every day, I walk for her.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5 and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
With city officials and residents pushing hard for a level 3 withdrawal management facility in the Sault, a drug action plan has been implemented. For the first time, the public was welcomed to Algoma Public Health to learn more about the new plan, which saw over 60 recommendations that included 11 priorities for the community. Drug Strategy Coordinator Charles Shamus held a media scrum following that presentation.
You talked about people will be able to track progress on these priorities. How is the website going to do that?
Well, we will have all of the priorities listed there, but then there's 62 recommendations. We're not going to tackle number 1 and then number 2 and number 3. We're going to go after the ones that are most important right now and that the community and the community of service providers can tackle. So we may do number 13 and number 27. Those will be turned into a work plan, and so there'll be a smaller subcommittee. Let's say one of the things we're going to do is try to increase access, timely access for youth to treatment. So we'll get the youth service providers into a subcommittee, and then we will have a work plan to do that, and that will be on the website.
You're saying you're not going to go in order. You'll go as the priorities are.
Yeah, and we'll also, frankly, go if there's funding available for that thing, then we'll go for that one.
Okay. Well, what's the timeline? When are you hoping to touch on all these 62?
Well, over the next number of years, but we've already started. So there are 6 or 7 projects that were in the early developmental phase, including anti-stigma discrimination training and campaigns, including timely access to youth to treatment, including a more robust and evidence-based education program for youth in terms of their resiliency and their strengths. We're looking at a mini project in Garden River for their community. That's it for now.
How many people did you talk to? Did you interview as part of this call to action?
Dozens. I didn't do that. That was Natalie's job, but certainly there were 30 plus service providers and then dozens of individuals, as well as many of the drug strategies around the province, because almost every community has one, and so each new drug strategy builds on what others have done in the past.
And those individuals, are these family members who lost a loved one? Are they people who use
both? Family members, people with lived experience, clients of agencies, service providers at the front line.
The 7 public health units in Northern Ontario will be working together on climate change, health vulnerability, and adaptation reports over the next 2 years with funding support from Health Canada. The reports developed during this project will help public health units understand what changes to expect and begin to prepare for them. Some climate change impacts in Northern Ontario are expected to be more severe than in Southern Ontario. Also, differences in our geography, population density, and Indigenous populations mean the health effects of climate change will be felt differently than in Southern Ontario. Local meetings will be held to educate partners about the effect of climate change on health and explore possible future policies and programs that might help people adapt to the changes that are happening. Separate reports will be produced for each health unit region. Along with APH, health units involved are including North Bay, Parry Sound, Northwestern, Sudbury Districts, Thunder Bay District, and Temiskaming. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, Sault Ste. Marie District, is advising Blind River area residents that a flood warning is in effect until tomorrow. Residents along the Blind River system should keep a close watch on conditions, regularly check for updated messages, and stay away from fast-moving rivers and streams. Residents within the Blind River watershed are advised that the risk of flooding is high and that some low-lying areas are already experiencing flood conditions, and rain is expected to bring an additional 10 to 20 millimeters of water. The ministry is closely monitoring the weather and developing watershed conditions. Jason Kenney will meet face-to-face today with the political foe he attacked relentlessly in his successful bid to become Alberta's premier, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The two are to meet this afternoon in the Prime Minister's office just hours after Kenney is to testify before a Senate committee studying the government's bill to rewrite the rules for environmental assessments of energy projects. Kenney is a former federal Conservative cabinet minister and calls the bill the No Pipelines Act and wants it scrapped. He spent as much or more time during the Alberta election campaign attacking Trudeau than his main provincial adversary, Rachel Notley, whose NDP government was defeated on April 16th. He has promised to fight the Liberals in court over the imposition of a carbon tax and has threatened to hold a referendum on federal equalization if there's no substantive progress on building a pipeline to get Alberta's oil to Tidewater for shipment to overseas markets. University of Chicago professor William Howell says Attorney General William Barr's performance before the Senate Judiciary Committee was impressive for its calm, but corroded public perceptions of independence.
Entering into this arena, given this hand, is really difficult, on the one hand. On the other hand, I think it also is pretty clear that Barr is behaving exactly as Trump would have him behave. The fact that these concerns are being articulated not just by congressional Democrats, but by Mueller himself, underscores this deeper concern that Barr is doing the bidding of the president and not upholding the independence of the Office of Attorney General.
So all morning long we've been talking to you about the Billboard's awards show last night and how awesome it is. Madonna spent a ton of money apparently, and you know, Madonna, stay home. I'm just saying, honey, it's time. God,
she spent a lot of money on what?
Getting there, getting ready, and
just getting there.
Just getting there.
You mean getting dressed and getting her hair done? And
and the whole production. And
her number?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you?
I'm not fond of her. She's like.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Doing her number? Oh, I saw her rehearsing in the back of a limo for this thing.
And what's with that? What's with the eye patch? You know what? I'm over the whole. Gee, I'm going to wear this just to freak people out. It's been 50 years, Madonna. We get it.
We're not wearing eye patches or meat suits anymore. It's just not necessary. You've reached a level of stardom where you don't need gimmicks. Just rely on your talent.
Show up and actually sing.
If she had to rely on her talent, though.
Easy.
I'm not a fan of Madonna so much. She's one of those. She's a great. We've said this before. Great performer.
Oh, totally.
Just, I don't think she's the best vocalist in the world.
No. But anyway, talking about, we told you earlier that Joe Jonas married his girlfriend.
Yes.
And her name is
Mrs. Jonas.
Sophie Turner.
Oh.
And we were joking, they got married in Las Vegas, so we were joking about, well, they did. Right after the Billboard show.
You're not kidding me, Elvis?
Yep. They went to the Little White Chapel. Elvis, all dressed in red, married them. And she had a very plain dress, and it seemed like it was very campy, like a huge veil, and all the brothers went with them and stuff. And total opposite to Joe Jonas and Priyanka Chopra. Not Joe Jonas.
I was going to say, is he a bigamist now because did he marry somebody in India and then he married somebody in Vegas?
The other brother who married
What happens in Vegas
Priyanka
stays in Vegas.
Yeah, so crazy.
Thank you very much.
Jeez.
Do you take a woman?
I'd make him sing to me.
Hey, on a very serious note, you talked in the news about this drug strategy thing that was released by Algoma Family Services. Thank you for doing that.
Yes,
taking the helm on this.
Absolutely.
This project to
whittled it down. I think there were like 69 recommendations, and they whittled it down to like 11 priority issues.
But check this out. When they crunched the numbers and they tried to figure out how much this epidemic, and it is an epidemic, is costing our community with addictions and mental health. And by the way, the age range we're looking at, 18 to 25. This is the these are our youth that are the majority of people being affected by this epidemic of substance use and misuse and mental health not being dealt with, okay? It's costing our community somewhere in the area of like $8 million annually.
And people are overdosing.
Or since it became an epidemic. Anyway, what I'm saying is, take that money and put it into helping people. You know what I mean? If we could just get ahead of the game, folks.
Well, and it all has to do, of course, the crisis has to do with it's like anything, right? There's a ripple effect. So people are committing crimes so they can get money so that they can buy the
People are also dying because they're not doing things safely.
Right.
And this is what you're not getting about safe injection sites for government. They're closing down injection sites. When Ross Romano sat right at this table and promised us that he was not going to let that happen, he was not advocating for that, you said you would support for this problem that we have. Now you're shutting things down. You're not going to get free needles and just shoot up people. This is a chance for them to get in touch with people who are helping them. It creates a place for them to go that's safe. When you go in to get a safe injection, you're also connecting with healthcare workers who are there to oversee the site. It's a way to stop the addiction and stop the cycle, so stop cutting money. Oh, I'm so mad.
Apparently.
But now we'll be back with a lovely interview.
We're going to do some Highland dance.
We are. Well, we're not going to Highland dance. We're going to hear all about 60-odd years in Sault Ste. Marie.
That's amazing.
Councillor McLeod is here carrying on the tradition her mother started.
She's been doing this for a long time, and kudos to her. No, she doesn't. She came in and I went.
Big reunion coming up, and we're going to talk about that right next. Don't go anywhere on Mornings with Luann and me.
What do you wish for? A nice life? Nice things? Or do you wish for something more? A sense of purpose? Do you wish to discover a cure to write code that cracks an unsolvable question, to further our exploration into space, or to invent something that changes everything right here on Earth. Well, if that's your wish, make yourself ready. Because when you look back, you'll see that you didn't just make wishes, you realized them.
In the beginning, there was nature, the oceans, the forests, the mountains, and so history was passed on, and memories took shape, defining us, uniting us, creating a legacy that's ours to preserve, and ours to celebrate. Beauty amazing, got a kiss from the sun, and that thing will be blazing. I'm dreaming, dream catches, catching on my field, catches for us run, running the river to the right of field, lots of jump, jumping to the beat, birds flying to the creek, part of the plan, dirt on my feet, feeling the beast, feeling that beat it, I beat it, the beast, feeling that peace, feeling that ease, hold up, can't be fighting the feeling I need. A message from the Government of Canada.
Welcome back to Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim. As promised, it's Catherine McLeod and Daphne. Hi, Daphne.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Catherine, what a celebration this is for you. There we go. McLeod Highland Dance.
Yes.
How many years in our community?
66 from the time my mom immigrated in 1953 to this spring.
I had no idea, 66 years. So your mother from Scotland was how old when she immigrated?
She was 22.
She was 22 when she came here because she was in love?
She was.
Your dad had immigrated earlier?
Yes.
And tell the story about how he proposed.
He sent an engagement ring inside a box of tea bags.
Because they were having a hard time getting tea. Oh, they couldn't get tea in Scotland?
They couldn't get tea and jams and all those nice little treats.
Because it was wartime?
Yeah,
Is that why?
Post-war.
Post-war.
So there were still
shortages.
a lot of shortages. Yeah.
So he was getting tea and sending the tea bags to Scotland.
Yep. And
but when they arrived, they thought, when the tea bags arrived in Scotland, they had never done tea bags there.
No.
So what did they do?
They ripped it open and poured it thinking it was an individual loose tea, because everything was loose tea over there. So it was a new thing for them.
But he had hidden?
He had a little container inside, and inside the ring case was
the ring case in the tea.
In the tea.
So she moved over.
Yes.
Came to Sault Ste. Marie.
She did.
And she had been dancing over in Scotland already.
Yes.
She started when?
She started, I think when she was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
The girl that lived upstairs in the tenement was a dancer.
How cool
and she
is
taught
that?
her, and then Mom started she had her first studio recital when she was 14 years old.
You said you have that photo still.
I have the poster.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so she comes to the Sioux and she decides there's a niche.
Well, there was some Highland dancing here in town. Trixie Hardy had her studio going already.
I didn't know that Trixie did Highland.
Well, she did a little bit, but it was the old school Highland. Okay. So when Mom came over, she was with the current techniques and that. So she did a little bit. She performed quite a bit, and then it was probably a little later, after early 60s, when she really started into the studio.
Really? Hey. So when did you start? I mean, you're the daughter of the teacher.
It was kind of like, supposedly I was doing the sword dance with 2 swords and diapers. So
and diapers.
Yeah, it's kind of
Daphne, did you do that sword dance thing?
Yes.
That stuff is crazy. You have to go so fast in and out of the swords. When did you start?
I started when I was 4 years old.
4? You're so little when they started. And how old are you now?
I'm 16.
You're tiny for 16, but you're for 12 years already you've been dancing, and you're teaching now.
Yes.
What's that like for you to go through the process and now turn around and be mentoring other young dancers?
Well, when I was like 4, there was lots of student teachers already at the studio, and I loved all of them, and I always thought they were so fun. So of course, when I grew up and was old enough to like teach and get my associates and everything, I was like, oh, I'm going to start teaching the little kids.
Because you looked up to them, and you
Yes.
were like, and you thought, no, this is a chance for me to do the same thing for other kids and be that person that I so admired. Good for you. So, how many kids do you teach right now?
5.
And they're little, aren't they?
Yes.
How is the youngest?
The youngest one's 4.
Imagine teaching a 4. What kind of stuff do you teach them when they're 4 years old? The very basics, like
Yes, they know.
pointing toes and all that kind of stuff.
Past that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They know part of the sword dance. They know.
A 4-year-old with swords, that's like you with diapers and swords. So, over the years, do you have any idea how many students have passed through the doors of McLeod House?
Hundreds. Because I remember at one point I counted, it was well over 100 that Mom was teaching. That was probably
That was just your mother teaching?
That was just my mother before I even started. So that was in the 80s. She had 100 at the time, between Iron Bridge and Sault Ste. Marie.
And I didn't know that she taught across the Algoma district.
She did.
And I also didn't know, and this is kind of hard to believe when you look at Catherine, how many years?
25 years for me.
You've been running the studio
I
for
moved
25
back from
years?
Toronto in 1993, and that's when I started up.
What was it like coming back to Sault Ste. Marie after leaving town and going out in the world?
Well, I thought I'd be home for a year because I came home to do my MBA, and 25 years later, I'm still here.
Well, we're awfully glad, because if it weren't for you, is there anybody else who's doing this right now?
No,
I didn't think so.
It's just the teachers that I've put through and that are helping with me right now.
What about certification and stuff? Now, I know that, when you're talking to like Elite Dance Force or Studio Dance Arts, that some of those teachers are certified to actually do the exams, and otherwise they have to bring people in to do the exams for whether it's British Academy or Canadian Academy. How does it work for Highland dancing?
We're with the SCTA. You can also be with the BATD, but we're Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance. Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance.
SDTA. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
And we have an examiner that comes over from Scotland each year. Just
You
like
bring
for BATD, they
Right
also
on.
bring over someone. Usually it's from England, but we have the Scottish examiners that come over, and we just had that done last month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what happens with you? You're right now. You're a student teacher. Are you going to keep on going and maybe get? Is there a way to work up?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think is in store for you?
Well, I just
Daphne?
have my associates at this point, but only in certain dances, only in the Highland aspect of it. There's also like the whole other side, which is nationals, which are different outfit and different arms and different dances.
You mean different outfits, different arm holds, and different? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's more of a skirt, so they're holding their arms out, and so it's.
And because you do the one where your arms are straight at your sides, is that
No,
you?
that's Irish.
Oh, that's Irish. That's me. I know nothing. You're on hips a lot.
Yeah, on your hips and fifths.
So what do you think is the hardest? What part of your body, after you've been dancing, is the part that goes, I need to take a break?
The legs.
Your legs.
Yeah.
A lot of core strength, though, I'd imagine.
Yes.
Eh, Catherine?
It's constant jumping.
Jumping.
So a 6-step Highland fling is the equivalent to running a mile, but we're doing it in wool kilts with smiles on our faces and looking like we're out of breath at the end. So that's the equivalent.
Running a mile?
Running a mile is equivalent to a 6-step fling. The number of jumps.
How long is your average six-step fling? How like time?
A minute and 50 seconds.
You're running a mile in a minute and 56 seconds.
Wow, it's the equivalent.
What I'm saying is that you're expending an awful lot of energy.
An awful lot.
Do you still go?
I still do a little bit here and there.
Have you ever seen her dance?
I don't think. Yes. Never.
Are you going to, for the reunion, are you going to get up and do something?
I lost a bet a few years ago and I had to dance at the recital, but I don't know if I'm going to do anything this year. We'll see. I might. I know. I've already been.
When is now? So what is this reunion? This sounds like a blast.
So I want any past McLeod dancer, whether it was with Mom or myself, to come to the recital, come to the Wine and Cheese, bring pictures, bring memorabilia. We're going to have some stuff out. Participate in the recital. We've got some that are coming back and they're going to dance.
Really?
And I've had
Graduates?
Some of the teachers that I have, although the alumni, I'm teaching the daughters. So the moms are coming in and practicing to get back into it.
You gotta love that when it's generational.
Yeah, it's really fun.
How many student teachers do you have?
I have 3.
Okay.
And then 1 associate teacher
Right now you're operating out of
the Oddfellows
on Dentistry.
Yes.
Okay.
Great wood floor.
How do people, if they want to sign up for Highland Dancing, what do they do, Catherine?
We're on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us.
Okay.
Or of course come out to our recitals.
Okay, but now let's talk about this weekend. Okay,
yes.
So the Friday is what?
Wine and Cheese at the Marconi, the 17th.
Friday, May 17th. Wine and Cheese at the Marconi.
Yes.
Memorabilia, right?
Yep.
Then the next day day is the show.
Is the showcase.
And that's going to be at Cora.
Yes, it is.
At Cora.
Yeah.
Then you all go back to the Marconi for a dinner
dance in Kaylee.
And so, Kaylee's a Scottish word. I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
Party.
Party like a, I can't do a Scottish accent. Can you?
Not very well.
Party like a Scot. Can you? You got a Scottish accent?
I can, but
I just directed Shrek. You think I can do a Scottish accent?
Yeah.
Listen, we got to go. Time's up. But Catherine McLeod,
Thank
really
you so
nice
much
to
for
have you on
having
the
us
show.
on.
Daphne, congratulations on your success and good luck with your future endeavors. Have fun at the party. McLeod Highland Dance. Get in touch with her if you want to show up at the party for the reunion. We'll be back with Luann in just 1 minute.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, there is hope and there is help. You matter. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The calls are free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. You are not alone.
Fling.
Oh my goodness. You've been waiting all day to say that.
Just a minute and a half.
Not long enough. We want to say a huge thank you to Quarter to Five, which is on Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. They are sponsoring us this whole month. And you know what? I bought Tim a present from there. You have to go because there is something for everyone. It's on Ashman Street in Sault, Michigan. So this weekend,
let's just leave it
go
at that.
get it. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. It's Friday.
Yay.
Thank you.